Back again, this time for my transfer targets for game week 23. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so firstly, as always, going to look at the team. We've got the Arsenal double up in defence at home to Man United, got Richards at home to Chelsea, and Anderson at home to Brighton. Now, given the fact that Palace are playing Richards and everything that's going on with Palace, I don't feel confident about the Richards clean sheet. Can't see that happening. However, when you look at the bench, I don't really have many options. Goodmanson is away at Everton and Keane is still out given his red card against Wolves. So Richards has to play. I could make a transfer there. I will go through some options, but it's unlikely that I make a change in defence. And then in midfield, Saka, he's at home to Man United. We know that he was benched for the game at Nottingham Forest. However, going into the Man United game, Arsenal haven't won in 2 games, so I'd fully expect Saka to start that game because it is a big game still. Enzo, he's away at Crystal Palace, got an assist, so definitely staying in the team. Good transfer in. Anderson is just again ticking on nicely, managed to pick up 5 points over the week. And Semenyo against Wolves at home. And then Haaland and Ekitike up top. Now, you can see that Fernandes is new to the team. I actually transferred him in on Saturday evening. Now, a lot of people will say that that's knee-jerk. I transferred Foden out for Bruno Fernandes given the results and the performances from both. However, it wasn't just that. Of course, the price rises, that plays a factor. But most importantly for me, I've got Foden and Semenyo. Now, given the performance against Man United, it's fair to say that either one of them could be dropped. Foden was substituted at half-time. He went off with a suspected broken hand, that's what the reports are saying. Can anybody be certain that Foden's going to start? The fact that I've got Semenyo and Foden, I just felt like I had to make a decision and take a punt on who I think is going to be dropped. And out of the two, I personally think Foden has more chance of being dropped, given his run of form, given his broken hand, given the fact that he was taken off at half-time. Between him and Semenyo, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Foden that's going to get dropped. I could be wrong, and they could both start. But for me, I knew that I was always going to get Bruno Fernandes in game week 24. So just to get him in early, I know the Arsenal game isn't an easy game, but he is on penalties. He is playing very well. And there's always a chance that he could get something against Arsenal. They're not completely bulletproof. They have conceded goals at home. And United look great against City. So there's always a chance that he could get on the end of something or could set up something. So it is a difficult fixture. But it's Bruno Fernandes. He can get returns against anybody. Alright, so my main concerns are, like I said, in defence. Saka is a concern given the fact that he was benched again. And Ekitike, again, he blanked. He's had a lot of blanks since I brought him in. So we're first going to go through the fixture ticker to see what the best teams are to target. And then we'll go through some of those specific players within those teams. Alright, so first on the list, you can see that Bournemouth are now at the top as opposed to Chelsea. However, as you can see, Bournemouth, Brighton, Chelsea all have great fixtures. You could include Crystal Palace in that as well. However, they are in a bad spell right now with everything that's happening at the club. So I wouldn't include them in the 3 that I mentioned. Bournemouth, Brighton and Chelsea by far have the best fixtures in the league. Bournemouth do have Liverpool at home, but I would say given Liverpool's recent results, they drew 1-1 at home to Burnley. You could suggest that it's not a terrible fixture for Bournemouth. It is going to be difficult, but you could see their attacking players get returns in that game. Then they go on to have Wolves away, Aston Villa at home, Everton away, and then West Ham away, and then Sunderland at home. So yeah, 5 really good fixtures, with the 6th being the Liverpool home game, but they are at home. And yeah, like I said, Bournemouth players could get some attacking returns in all of those games. So I'll be definitely looking at Bournemouth players going forward, possibly after game week 23. Then you've got Brighton. Brighton are a team that I very rarely pick players from. Welbeck, he is very injury prone. I know he's doing well this season, but he normally does get injured and he does get rested quite a lot because of that. So I couldn't go there. Then you've got Matoma, Minte, not really pulling up any trees, not really getting massive amounts of returns. Yeah, maybe in defence you could go Van Heck. If you need a goalkeeper, Verbruggen's there as well. And then you've got Chelsea, Crystal Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, Burnley at home. Some great fixtures up to game week 27 before they have Arsenal away in game week 28. Now, I've always been looking at Palmer for game week 24. However, there was a lot of pictures and images that didn't look great if you wanted to get Palmer in. Obviously there was that video going around of him falling to the floor after the final whistle and people helping him up. It seemed like he was still having issues with his groin. Even when he scored the penalty, there wasn't much of a celebration. Whether or not that's because he didn't have a great game and he got an easy goal, and so there wasn't anything to celebrate, I'm not sure. But it was very muted, the celebration. It just doesn't look good, and from Chelsea fans' perspective, they are saying he's not at his best. Chelsea didn't look great against Brentford despite winning. So yeah, it's a little bit worrying with Palmer, and considering he's so expensive, I don't know, it's starting to put me off. But there are other players within the team. You could look at João Pedro. He did just score, but the lap came on, got an assist, given the fact that he won the penalty that Palmer scored from. So there's that minutes debate there for those two. Then you've got Neto. Seems to be starting quite a few games, but there is a risk of rotation there with the amount of attacking midfielders that Chelsea have. I've gone for Enzo because he's nailed, plays full 90 minutes. He is playing a little bit deeper given the fact that Palmer's back, but he is playing 90 minutes. He does get forward, does get attacking returns like he did in game week 22. So for me, that's probably the best player to go for if you're looking for a midfielder from Chelsea. And then in Crystal Palace, like I've mentioned, they're struggling. They haven't won a game in 10 games. Glasner's come out with all those comments. Yeah, I couldn't recommend anybody from Crystal Palace. Ismail Assar will be back soon. I can almost guarantee that he's going to go straight into the team, play on that right. Maybe Brendan Johnson goes to the left in replace of the inconsistent Pino. But yeah, I couldn't personally recommend anybody, especially not in defence, now that Gahey's gone as well. Then of course, Arsenal. If you've got to need a defender, Gabriel or Timber, definitely go for Gabriel first before going for Timber. If you need a double up in defence, Gabriel and Timber are the two to pick. And then of course, no one's going to go for Burnley. Man City are struggling as well, but they do have Wolves at home. Personally, the only attacker that I would go for if you're looking for an attacker is Haaland, but I'm sure you already have him already. All right, so now we've seen the teams that are best to target for the next few game weeks. Let's look at some of the players that Fantasy Football Hub have picked, and we'll go through some of my personal picks as well. All right, so Fantasy Football Hub's pick for the defender is Daniel Ballard. Now, believe it or not, on the prediction tool, he is third behind only Gabriel and Timber for not only the next 3 fixtures, but the next 6 fixtures as well. So when you look at the fixture ticker, you see that Sunderland have West Ham away, Burnley at home, but then they have Arsenal away and Liverpool at home in the next 4 game weeks. So I don't see how he is third in that list. Yes, Sunderland are tough at home, but the expected goals conceded is 1.34. They are overperforming in terms of defensive stats, in terms of keeping clean sheets, etc. So I don't see where this one's coming from. I mean, he is only 3% owned, so he is definitely a differential. But if you are looking for a defender from Sunderland, my pick would be Mukiel, just because he's cheaper at 4.4 million. He's a right back who still gets DEFCON contributions, and he manages to get some attacking returns as well. He picked up an assist in game week 22, bombing down the line, putting it in for Enzo Lefebvre to score. Yeah, I would personally go for Mukiel if you're looking for a Sunderland defender, but at 4.6 million, I think you can get better elsewhere. All right, so my pick is going to be Trevor Chalobah. Now, I can't move away from this one. I picked him in game week 22. Chelsea still have great fixtures coming up, so why would I move away from him? He then went on to pick up a clean sheet against Brentford in game week 22. So Trevor Chalobah is still a great pick. He does have Crystal Palace away in game week 23. However, as we know about Palace, they are struggling. They haven't won in 10 games. They were creating a lot of chances, but just not putting them away. Now, we're not creating chances at all. Everything's just dried up. Everything looks really bad. Glasner's come out with those comments. So, I mean, team morale can't be great. And we haven't actually beaten Chelsea in 9 years. So, yeah, I would be very surprised if Palace got something from this game. Whether we score or not, I'm not even sure about that. So it's a great game to target. I would personally play Trevor Chalobah if I had him in my team. And then after that, he has West Ham at home, Wolves away, and then he's also got Leeds at home and Burnley at home in game weeks 26 and 27. So some great fixtures to target over the next 5 game weeks. Yeah, Trevor Chalobah is a great pick. All right, so moving into midfield, and Fantasy Football Hub have Bruno Fernandes at the top of the list for not only the next 3 game weeks, but the next 6 game weeks as well. So yes, he does have Arsenal away, which is a tough fixture. But after that, he's got Fulham at home, Tottenham at home, West Ham away, Everton away, and then Crystal Palace at home. So 5 decent fixtures to target after this Arsenal game, which is away from home. Like I've said at the beginning, Bruno could get something from that. He is on penalties, he is on set pieces, so there's always a chance he can get something. Obviously, he's already got 5 goals and 9 assists. He's been out injured, he's come straight back and got attacking returns in both the games he's played in. Expected goal involvement of 0.7 per 90, chances created of 0.83, and he also has 0.55 big chances as well per night. So yeah, he's involved in everything good that United do. He's now playing in almost like the 10 role behind Mbeumo. If that was to continue, that is a frightening attack with Bruno Fernandes behind Mbeumo, who's making those runs behind the defence. Expect to see Cunha back at some point as well to play on the left. If the City game was to anything to go by, Bruno Fernandes is going to be a great pick going forward. Alright, so I'm going to go for Bryan Mbeumo. Now, of course, if you have to choose between Bruno or Mbeumo and you have the money for both, of course, go for Bruno Fernandes. That's who I would go for. But I've already got Bruno Fernandes and I'm seriously considering getting Mbeumo in as well. We know how well he was playing before he went to AFCON. He seemingly come back, started the first game back up front for United, got the goal that saw Man United go on to win the game, clinical finish, and he's playing just in front of Bruno Fernandes, who is one of the most creative midfielders in the league. If he continues to play up front for United, I can really see Bryan Mbeumo picking up quite a few attacking returns in the second half of the season. His predicted points over the next 3 are 16.9. His points per 90 are 5.06. He's already got 7 goals and 1 assist, and he's getting 0.73 big chances per 90. Whilst Bruno is creating a lot of chances, Bryan Mbeumo is getting all the chances. So a combination of the two could really see your team be pushed up the ranks when they both get in a return. It could be plenty of moments where Bruno is setting up Mbeumo. So yeah, it's definitely someone I'm considering. Maybe not this game week as I've already made 1 transfer and I've only got 1 left. But for game week 24 onwards, yeah, definitely I'm looking at Bryan Mbeumo. Alright, so moving into the forwards, and Fantasy Football Hub have picked Hugo Ekitike. He is second only behind Haaland for the next 3 game weeks and for the next 6 game weeks as well. So yeah, 16.3 points for the next 3 game weeks. He's been no good for me in terms of when I transferred him in. He's got 1 attack in return. I believe that was against Wolves, and that was an assist. He hasn't scored in that time since I've owned him. He has got 0.81 big chances per game. I believe he got an expected goal involvement of around 1.2 against Burnley. So he underperformed his stats. But yeah, he doesn't have the greatest fixtures. Bournemouth away, Newcastle home, and Man City at home. But he is most likely to start for Liverpool up front. And if somebody told you you could have Liverpool's forward for the next 3 game weeks, would you pick him? You probably would, right? Because Liverpool create chances. They're going to start clicking soon. They're going to start beating teams. And if Hugo Ekitike is the starter up front, playing mostly 90 minutes, then you can expect him to get some goals, get some assists, and push you up the ranks. So it's a toss-up whether I'm going to keep him or not. It's between him and Thiago. Do I do the transfer this week? Do I hold off for 1 more game? Do I see how he plays against Bournemouth? I'm undecided. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and it really is just going to come down to the deadline whether I do it or not. And then that moves me on to Igor Thiago. Like I've said, there isn't really much options outside of these two. You do have Ollie Watkins. He is a definite option. Watkins has Newcastle away, Brentford at home, and then Bournemouth away in his next 3. And after that, he's got Brighton at home, Leeds at home, and Wolves away. So those are some good fixtures towards the end of that 6 game week run. Brighton at home, Leeds at home, and Wolves away. Definitely some fixtures you could target there. It's just whether I can fit him into my team. I'm not sure if I downgraded from Ekitike to Watkins, I'd be able to make the moves in midfield as well. Like I've mentioned, I'm looking at Mbeumo as a second attacker from United. That would leave me with Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Mbeumo, Anderson, and Enzo. So yeah, I would always want to play those 5 midfielders for many different reasons. Of course, I'm always going to play Enzo, Bruno, Mbeumo, and Saka because they're going to get me the attacking returns. But Anderson is just consistently picking up points. Not even just 4 points now. He picked up 5 over the weekend. He picked up 7 the week before. So yeah, he's just ticking along nicely. Even against Arsenal, he's picking up points. Why would I put him to the bench in any game? Because if he's going to get me consistent returns, I've got to keep picking him. So therefore, I'm going for a 5 in midfield, and then it's only leaving me with 2 strikers anyway. So who is that second striker going to be? Because I'm always going to have Haaland. Is it going to be Thiago? Is it going to be Watkins or Ekitike? I'm not sure the last 2, Watkins and Ekitike, are consistent enough for me to pick them. That's why I've again picked Igor Thiago. 5.81 points per 90. He scored 16 goals and only got 1 assist. Gets 1.27 big chances per game. He had a chance against Chelsea to score a header that just went wide, so he could have got a return against Chelsea away from home. He now has Nottingham Forest at home, and it looks like a great opportunity to get Thiago in. So yeah, seriously considering Thiago. Won't make the move until the deadline. I've got enough money in the bank. He did rise in price again, so he's 7.2 million, but I can still afford him. I've still got a lot of money in the bank, especially if I move from Ekitike to Thiago. Yeah, won't make that move until close to the deadline, but that's the most likely move that I'm going to do. And that wraps up my transfer targets for game week 23. If this video helped, drop a like, it genuinely supports the channel. And if you're new around here, subscribe because I've got more content coming up over the next few days. Let me know how your team's shaping up in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're planning. Maybe there's something I've missed. Good luck this week, green arrows, and I'll see you in the next one.